Leo's tour was going great. Until he learned about the dragon. The archer dude, Will Solis, seemed pretty cool. Everything he showed Leo was so amazing. It should have been illegal. Real Greek warships, moored at the beach, that sometimes had practice fights with flaming arrows and explosives. Sweet! Arts and crafts sessions where you could make sculptures with chainsaws and blowtorches. Leo was like, sign me up. The woods were stocked with dangerous monsters, and no one should ever go in there alone. Nice! And the camp was overflowing with fine-looking girls. Leo didn't quite understand how the whole related to the gods. Leo didn't quite understand the whole related to the gods business, but he hoped that that didn't mean he was cousins with all these ladies. That would suck. At the very least, he wanted to check the house, check those underwater girls out. At the very least, he wanted to check out those underwater girls at the lake again. They were definitely worth drowning for. Oh, Rockham, what's up? Was just about to write cozy, and then you burp. I'm sorry. I hope you didn't leave straight away. Welcome. Alright. Will showed him the cabins, the diving pavilion, and the sword arena. Do I get a sword? Leo asked. Will glanced at him like he found the idea disturbing. You will probably make your own, seeing as you're from Cabin 9. Yeah, what's up with that? Vulcan. Usually the gods go... Usually we don't call the gods by their Roman names, Will said. The original names are Greek. Your dad is a Festus. Festus? Leo asked. Leo had heard somebody say that before, but he was still dismayed. Sounds like a god of cowboys. Festus, Will corrected. God of blacksmiths and fire. Leo had heard that too, but he was trying to not think about it. The god of fire? Seriously? Considering what had happened to his mom, that seemed like a sick joke. So the flaming hammer over his head, Leo said. Good thing or bad thing? Will took a while to answer. You were claimed almost immediately. That's usually good. But that rainbow pony dude, Butch, he mentioned a curse. Look, it's nothing. Since Cabin 9 is the least, look, it's nothing. Since Cabin 9's last, counselor died. Died? Like, painfully? I ought to let you know. Bunkmates tell you about it. I ought to let your bunkmates tell you about it. Yeah, where are my home dogs? Shouldn't their counseling, shouldn't their counselor be giving me the VIP tour? He can't. You'll see why. Will foraged ahead before Leo could ask anything else. Curses and death, Leo said to himself. This just gets better and better. Time to bully and bonk people with ADT mode. Have fun, man. He was halfway across the green when he spotted his old babysitter, and she was not the kind of person he expected to see at a demigod camp. Leo froze in his tracks. What's wrong? Will asked. Tia Kalida, Auntie Kalida. That's what she'd called herself. But Leo hadn't seen her since since he was 5 years old. She was just standing there in the shadow of a big white cabin at the end of the green, watching him. She wore a black linen widow's dress with a black shawl over her hair. Her face hadn't changed. Leathery skin, piercing dark eyes. Her withered hands were like claws. She looked ancient, but so different than Leo remembered. That old lady, Leo said. What is she doing here? Will tried to follow her gaze. What old lady? Dude, the old lady, the one in black. How many old ladies do you see over there? Will frowned. I think you've had a long day, Leo. The mist could still be playing tricks on your mind. How about we head straight to your cabin now? Leo wanted to protest, but he looked back towards the big cabin, and Tia Kalita was gone. He was sure she'd been there, almost as if thinking about his mom had summoned Kalita back from the past. Thank you for following, Haas. Oh, I need to, what I need to do real quick. Sorry to interrupt. Just so, should I do an alert box? Maybe that will break the... I'll set up separate alerts and then set up an alert box. How about it? So that I have like more chilled out alerts that don't like disrupt it so much. Your voice is so smooth. Yeah, once I can read better, it's gonna be even smoother. And I'm getting better chapter by chapter, I feel like. Like every time I do this, I just get better and better. So I feel like at some point I'll be somewhat okay. Let me drink some water. He was halfway across the green. Oh, okay. I've already read that. And that wasn't good because Tia Kalita had tried to kill him. Just messing with you, man. Leo pulled some gears and levers from his pockets and started fiddling with them to calm his nerves. He couldn't have everybody at camp thinking he was crazy. At least not crazier than he really was. Let's go to see Cabin 9, he said. I'm not in the mood for a good curse. From the outside, the Hephaestus cabins looked like an oversized motorhome, with shiny metal walls and metal slated windows. The entrance was like a blank vault door, circular and several feet thick. It opened with lots of brass gears turning and hydraulic pistons blowing smoke. Leo whistled. They got the steampunk theme going on, huh? Inside the cabin seemed deserted. High-tech steel bunks were flooded against the walls. Each had digital control panel, blinking LED lights, glowing gems, interlocking gears. Leo figured each camper had its own combination lock to release his bed. And he was probably an alcove behind it with the storage. Maybe some traps to keep the unwanted visitors. Keep out unwanted visitors. At least that's what Leo would have designed. The way Leo would have designed it. A fire pole came down from the floor above. Even though the cabin didn't appear to have another floor, from the outside, a circular staircase led down into some kind of basement. The walls were lined with with every kind of power tool Leo could imagine, plus a huge assortment of knives, swords, and other implements of destructions. A large workbench overflowed with scrap metals, screws, bolts, washers, nails, rivets, and other machine parts. Leo had a strong urge to shovel them all into his coat pockets. He loved that kind of stuff, but he needed 100 more coats to fit it all. Looking around, he could almost imagine he was back at his mom's machine shop. Not the weapons maybe, but the tools, piles of scrap, the smell of grease, metal, and hot engines. She would have loved this place. He pushed that thought away. He didn't like the painful memories. Keep moving, that was his motto. Don't dwell on things. Don't stay in one place for too long. It was the only way to stay ahead of the sadness. He picked a long implement from a wall. A weed whacker? What's the god of fire want with a weed whacker? A voice in the shadow said, "You'd be surprised." At the back of the room, one of the bunk beds was occupied. A certain dark camouflage material retracted, and Leo could see the guy who'd been invisible a second before. It was hard to tell much about him because he was covered in body cast. His head was wrapped in a gauze except for his face, which was puffy and bruised. He looked like a Pillsbury doughboy after a beatdown. I'm Jake Mason, the guy said. I'd shake your hand, but yeah, Leo said. Don't get up. The guy crackled a smile. He winced like it hurt to move his face. Leo wondered what had happened to him, but he was afraid to ask. Welcome to Cabin 9, Jake said. Been almost a year since we had any new kids. I'm the head counselor for now. For now? Leo asked. Will Solace cleared his throat. So where is everybody, Jake? Down at the fortress, Jake said wistfully. They're working on, that problem. Oh, Will changed the subject. So you got a spare bed for Leo? Jake studied Leo sizing him up. You believe in curses, Leo, or ghosts? I just saw my evil babysitter, Tia Calito, Leo thought. She got to be dead after all these years. And, can't go a day without remembering my mom in that machine shop fire. Don't talk about ghosts, doughboy. But, aloud, he said, ghosts? Pfft, nah. Don't talk to me about, ghosts, said doughboy. But aloud he said, ghosts? Pfft, nah. I'm cool. A storm spirit chucked me down the Grand Canyon this morning. But all in a day's work, right? Jake nodded. That's good, because I'll give you the best bed in the cabin. Beckensdorf. Whoa, Jake, will you? Will said. You sure? Jake called out. Bunk 1A, please. The whole cabin rumbled. A circular section of the floor spiraled open like a camera lens, and a full-size bed popped up. The bronze frame had a built-in game station at the footboard, a stereo system in the headboard, a glass door refrigerated mounted into the base, a whole bunch of control panels running down the side. Leo jumped right in and lay back with his arms behind his head. I can handle this. It reacts into private room below. It retracts into a private room below, Jake said. Oh, heck yes, Leo said. See y'all, I'll be down in the Leo cave. Which button do I press? Hold on, Will Solace protested. You guys have private underground rooms? Jake would have probably smiled if it didn't hurt so much. We've got lots of secrets, Will. You Apollo guys can't have all the fun. Our campers have been excavating the tunnel system under Cabin 9 for almost a century. We still haven't found the end. Anyway, Leo, I don't mind, if you don't mind sleeping in a dead man's bed, it's yours. Suddenly, Leo didn't feel like kicking back. He sat up, careful not to touch the buttons. The counselor who died, this is his bed? Yeah, Jake said. Charles Beckendorf. Leo imagined saw blades coming through the mattress, or maybe a grenade sewn inside the pillows. He didn't like to die in this bed. He didn't like die in this bed, did he? No, Jake said. In the Titan War last summer. The Titan War? Leo repeated, which has nothing to do with this very fine bed. The Titans, Will said, like Leo was an idiot. The big, powerful guys that ruled over the world before the gods. They tried to make a comeback last summer. Their leader, Kronos, built a new palace on top of Mount Tam in California. Their armies came to New York and almost destroyed Mount Olympus. A lot of demigods died trying to stop them. I guess this wasn't on the news, Leo said. It seemed like a fair question, but Will shook his head in disbelief. You didn't hear about Mount St. Helens erupting, or freak storms across the country, or that building collapsing in St. Louis? Leo shrugged. Last summer, he'd been on the run from another foster home. Then a truancy officer caught him in New Mexico. A court decided to send him to the nearest correctional facility, the Wilderness School. I guess I was busy. Doesn't matter, Jake said. You lucky you missed it. The thing is, Beckendorf was one of the first casualties, and ever since then. Your cabin's been cursed, Leo guessed. Jake didn't answer. Then again, the dude was in a body cast. That was the answer. Leo started noticing little things that hadn't seen before. An explosion mark on the wall, a stain on the floor that might have been oil or blood. Broken swords or smashed machines kicked into the corners of the room, maybe out of frustration. The place did feel unlucky. Jake sighed half-heartedly. Well, I should get some sleep. I hope you like it here. Leo, it used to be really nice. He closed his eyes, and the camouflage curtains drew itself across the bed. Come on, Leo, Will said. I'll take you to the fortress. As they were leaving, Leo looked back at his new bed, and he could almost imagine the dead counselor sitting there, another ghost who wasn't going to leave Leo alone. One more chapter? What are we thinking? That would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, one more chapter? It's only 5 more pages. Okay. Let me just, I'm gonna mute my mic just to blow my nose. Yeah, I have like snot in my nose. Let me check my names. Of course. Alright. How did he die? Leon asked. I mean Beckendorf. Will Solis trudged ahead. Explosion. Beckendorf and Percy Jackson blew up a cruise ship full of monsters. Beckendorf didn't make it out. There was that name again. Percy Jackson. Annabeth's missing boyfriend. That guy must have been into everything around here, Leo thought. So Beckendorf was pretty popular? Leo asked. I mean, before he blew off? He was awesome, Will agreed. It was hard for the whole camp when he died. Jake, he became head counselor in the middle of the war. Same as I did, actually. Jake did his best, but he never wanted to be leader. He just liked building stuff. Then, after the war, things started to go wrong. Cabin 9's chariots blew up. Their automats went haywire. Their inventions started to malfunction. It was like a curse. Eventually, people started calling it the curse of Cabin 9. Then Jake had his accident, which had something to do with the problem he mentioned, Leo guessed. They're working on it, Will said, without enthusiasm. And here we are. The forge looked like a steam-powered locomotive. Had smashed into a Greek. The forge looked like a steam-powered locomotive had smashed into a Greek Parthenon, and they had fused together. White marble columns lined the soot-stained walls. Chimneys pumped out smoke over an elaborate gable carved with a bunch of gods and monsters. The building sat at the edge of a stream, with several water wheels turning a series of bronze gears. Leo heard machinery grinding inside, fires roaring and hammers ringing on anvils. They stepped through the doorway, and a dozen guys and girls who'd been working on various projects all froze. The noise died down, the roar of the forge, and the click, click, click of gears and levers. Sup, guys, Will said. This is your new brother, Leo. What's your last name? Valdez. Leo looked around at the other campers. Was he really related to all of them? His cousins came from some big families, but he'd always just had his mom, until she died. Kids came up and started to shaking hands, introducing themselves. Their names blurred together. Shane, Christopher, Nissa, Harley. Yeah, like the motorcycle. Leo knew he'd never keep everybody straight. Too many of them. Too overwhelming. None of them looked like the others. All different face types, skin tones, hair colors. You'd never think, hey, it's the Hephaestus bunch. But they all had powerful hands, though calluses rough with calluses and stained with engine grease. Even little Harley, who couldn't have been more than 8, looked like he could go 6 rounds with Chuck Norris without breaking a sweat. And all the kids had some sad kind of seriousness. Their shoulders slumped, like life had beaten them down pretty hard. Several looked as if they were physically beaten up too. Leo counted on two arms. Leo counted 2 arm slings, 1 pair of crutches, and eye patch, 6 tube grips, bandages. And about 7,000 band-aids. Well, alright, Leo said. I hear this is the party cabin. Nobody laughed. They just stared at him. Well, Solace patted Leo's shoulder. I'll leave you guys to get acquainted. Somebody show Leo to dinner when it's time. I've got it, one of the girls said. Nissa, Leo remembered. She wore camo pants, a tank top, showed off her buff arms, and a red bandana over a mop of dark hair. Except for the smiley face band-aid on her chin, she looked like one of those female action heroes. Like any second she was going to grab a machine gun and start mowing down aliens. Cool, Leo said. I always wanted a sister who could beat me up. Nissa didn't smile. Come on, Joker boy. I'll show you around. Leo was no stranger to workshops. He'd grown up around grease monkeys and power tools. His mom used to joke that his first pacifier was a lug wrench. But he'd never seen any place like the camp forge. One guy was working on a battle axe. He kept testing the blade on a slab of concrete. Each time he swung, the axe cut into the slab like it was warm cheese, but the guy looked unsatisfied and went back to honing the edge. What was he planning to kill with that thing? Leo asked Nissa. A battleship? You never know. Even with celestial bronze. That's the metal, she nodded. Mined from Mount Olympus itself. Extremely rare. Anyway, usually it disintegrates monster on contact, but powerful ones have notoriously tough hides. Dracons, for instance. You mean dragons? Similar species. You'll learn the difference in monster fighting class. Monster fighting class? Yeah, I already got my black belt in that. She didn't crack a smile. Leo hoped she wasn't this serious all the time. His dad's side of the family had to have some sense of humor, right? They passed a couple of guys making a bronze wind-up toy. At least that's what they looked like. It was a 6-inch tall centaur, half man, half horse, armed with a miniature bow. One of the campers cranked the centaur's tail, and it whirred to life. It galloped across the table, yelling, "Die, mosquito! Die, mosquito!" and shooting everything in sight. Apparently this had happened before, because everybody knew to hit the floor except Leo. 6 needle-sized arrows embedded themselves in his shirt before a camper grabbed a hammer and smashed the centaur to pieces. Stupid curse. The camper waved his hammer at the sky. I just want a magic bug killer. Is that too much to ask? Ouch, Leo said. Nissa pulled the needles out of his shirt. You're fine. Let's move on before they rebuild it. Leo rubbed his chest as they walked. That sort of thing happens a lot lately, Nissa said. Everything we build turns into junk. The curse? Nissa frowned. I don't believe in curses, but something's wrong. I don't figure, if we don't figure out the dragon problem, it's gonna get even worse. The dragon problem? Leo hoped she wasn't talking about the miniature, Leo hoped she was talking about the miniature dragon. Maybe the one that killed cockroaches. But he got a feeling he wasn't going to be so lucky. Nissa took him to a big wall map that a couple of girls were studying. The map showed camp, a circle of land with Long Island Sound on the north shore, the woods to the west, the cabins to the east, and a ring of hills to the south. It's got to be in the hills, the first girl said. We looked in the hills, the second argued. The woods are better hiding place. But we already set traps. Hold up, Leo said. You guys lost a dragon? Like a full-size dragon? It's a bronze dragon, Nissa said. But yes, it's life-size. Automation. Hephaestus cabins built it years ago. Then it was lost in the woods and a few summers back when Beckendorf found it in pieces and rebuilt it. It's helping protect the camp, but it's a little unpredictable. Unpredictable, Leo said. It goes haywire and smashes down cabins, sets people on fire, tries to eat satyrs. That's pretty unpredictable, Nissa nodded. Beckendorf was the only one who could control it. Then he died, and the dragon just got worse and worse. Finally, it went berserk and ran off. Occasionally, it shows up and demolishes something and then runs away again. Everyone expects to find it and destroy it. Destroy it? Leo was appalled. You got a life-size bronze dragon and you just want to destroy it? It breathes fire, Nissa explained. It's deadly and out of control. But it's a dragon. Dude, that's awesome. Can you try talking to it? Controlling it? We tried, Jake Mason tried. You saw how well that ended up. Leo thought about Jake, wrapped in a body cast, lying alone in his bunk. Still, there's no other option. Nissa turned to the other girls. Let's try more traps in the woods. Here, here, here. Bait them with 30-weight motor oil. The dragon drinks that? Leo asked. Yeah, Nissa sighed regretfully. He used to like it with a little Tabasco sauce right before bed. If he springs that trap, we can come in with acid sprayers. Should melt right through the hide. Then we get a metal cutters and finish the job. They all looked sad. Leo realized they didn't want to kill the dragon, but any more than he did. Guys, he said, there has to be another way. Nissa looked doubtful, but the other campers stopped what they were working on and drifted over to hear the conversation. Like what? Leo asked. One asked. The thing breathes fire. We can't even get close. Fire, Leo thought. Oh man, the things he could tell them about fire. But he had to be careful, especially if these were his brothers and sisters, especially if he had to live with them. Well, he hesitated. Hephaestus is the god of fire, right? So don't any of you have like fire resistance or something? Nobody acted as if it was a crazy question, which was a relief. But Nissa shook her head gravely. That's a Cyclops ability, Leo. Demigod children of Hephaestus, we're just good with our hands. We're builders, craftsmen, and weaponsmiths, stuff like that. Leo's shoulders slumped. Oh. A guy in the back said, well, a long time ago. Yeah, okay, Nissa conceded. A long time ago, some children of Hephaestus were born with the power of fire, but that ability was very, very rare, and always dangerous. No demigod like that has been born in centuries. The last one, she looked at one of the other 6 kids for help. 1666, the girl offered. Guy named Thomas Fainer. He started the Great Fire of London, destroyed most of the city. Right, Nissa said. When a child of Hephaestus like that appears, it usually means something catastrophic is about to happen, and we don't need any more catastrophes. Leo tried to keep his face clear of emotion, which wasn't his strong suit. I guess I see your point. Too bad, though. If you could resist flames, you could get close to the dragon. Then it would kill you with its sharp claws and fangs, Nissa said, or simply step on you. No, we've got to destroy it, trust me. If anyone could figure out another answer. She didn't finish, but Leo got the message. This was the cabin's big test. They could do something only Beckendorf... if they could do something only Beckendorf could do, if they could subdue the dragon without killing it, then maybe the curse would be lifted. But they were stumped for ideas. Any camper who figured it out would be a hero. A conch horn blew in the distance. Campers started putting away their tools and projects. Leo hadn't realized it was getting late. He looked through the window and he saw the sun going down. His ADHD did that to him sometimes. If he was bored or a 50-minute class, it seemed like 6 hours. If he was interested in something like touring a demigod camp, hours slipped by like bam. The day was over. Dinner, Nissa said. Come on, Leo. Up at the pavilion, he asked. Pavilion. I can speak, he asked. She nodded. You guys go ahead, Leo said. Can you give me a second? Nissa hesitated. Then her expression softened. Sure, it's a lot to process. I remember my first day at camp. Come up when you're ready. Just don't touch anything. Almost every project in here can kill you if you're not careful. No touching, Leo promised. His cabin mates filed out of the forge. Soon Leo was alone with the sounds and bellows of the water wheels and small machines clicking and whirring. He stared at the map of a camp. The locations were his newfound sibling. We're going to put traps to catch a dragon. It was wrong. Plain wrong. Very rare, he thought. And always dangerous. He held out his hand and studied his fingers. They were long and thin, not calloused like the other Hephaestus campers. Leo had never been the biggest or strongest kid. He'd survived in tough neighborhoods, tough schools, tough foster homes by using his wits. He was the class clown, the court jester, because he'd learned early that if you crack jokes and pretend like you weren't scared, you usually didn't get beaten up. Even the baddest gangster kids would tolerate you and keep you around for laughs. Plus, humor was always a good way to hide the pain. And it didn't work. There was always plan B, run away, over and over. There was plan C, but he promised himself to never use it again. He felt the urge to try it now, something hadn't done since the accident, since his mom's death. He extended his fingers and felt them tingle, like they were waking up, pins and needles. Then flames flickered to life, curls of red-hot fire dancing across his palm. The end. That is end of chapter 6. We're on chapter 7 now. So Leo has the pyromancy power. Pretty fucking cool, in my opinion. I hope you all have a lovely night. I'll try to upload this session tomorrow on YouTube for those of you who maybe had to leave for a while. And I'll try to upload all future chapters on YouTube as well. I don't know if it will be my normal YouTube account or I'll make a separate one. But for now, I want you all to have a lovely, lovely night. A good night's sleep. And yeah, I'll see you all tomorrow. I'll try to read more. Good night.